Okay, go ahead. Sorry. I'm just going to do that with no explanation, just hold it up the whole time. Just no reference to it whatsoever.
Okay, Bob, what's the bigger story to you? Jarred Kelenic's hot streak or the Mariners' 5-8 start?
Jarred Kelenic's hot streak. Jarred Kelenic has been a polarizing figure, to say the least. A lot of people, debating his future. A lot of people that are very definitive in their opinions of him, whether, hey, he's going to be fine, or this guy's a bust, he's not going to be anything. You've seen it, we've all seen it. So I think seeing him do what he's done, home run in 3 straight games, hitting the longest home run in Mariner history, or in StatCast history for the Mariners, he's locked in, and it is absolutely delightful as a Mariner fan to watch what he's doing, because you start imagining, you start daydreaming about, man, look at this lineup. If Julio's going, and Teoscar, who looks like he's starting to find it, Ty France has got, a 10-game hitting streak at this point. You start looking at how long this lineup is, and you throw in Kelenic, who right now is hitting for average and power. Man, it really gets you excited about what this lineup can be. The start, it's not optimal, but again, I think it takes a while for people to get out of the football mentality and thinking every game is the beginning or end of the season. That's it, they stink, or they're the best. It's 162 games. I know we say it over and over, but there are a lot of people that seem to start the season with that football mentality, and then you kind of get into the groove of a baseball season, and you have to remind yourself and remind them, man, this team was 10 games under 500 in June last year. 10 games under. They end up winning 90. They go to the playoffs, they win the series in the playoffs. So I'm going to pump the brakes on the start of the season being that worrisome.
Where are you at on the bullpen right now?
It's a giant question mark. And it's what we say every year. We say it every year. And the Mariners have had this. And I can't remember if it was 17 to 18 or 18 to 19. They had one of the best bullpens in baseball one year, brought back almost the exact same cast, and were one of the worst. And it wasn't injury, it was just, bullpens are fickle. I don't know what to say about it. Like each year, they've essentially brought back the same exact cast without Swanson there. But you've had really up and down moments for Sewald, you've had up and down moments for Diego Castillo, Matt Brash has been up and down. So I feel like all of those guys are it's still early, they're trying to find their footing. But you don't really know what you're getting. And Andres Munoz being hurt certainly doesn't help. But the guys that have been healthy, the most effective guys are the guys that you're not as familiar with, whether it's Spire, whether it's Gott, it's more the new guys that feel like that they've been a little bit more consistent. Topa has had a couple of nice outings. It's the guys that we're familiar with that have been much more inconsistent.
Kelenic isn't the only guy who's hitting hot right now. Who else stands out to you?
Well, Ty France is kind of quietly doing it. I think he is so big for this lineup because he's impossible to pitch to when he's healthy, because you obviously the shift isn't there, but he wasn't a guy you could shift on before. He uses the entire field. He's incredibly effective. He's just a professional hitter, and he's got this hit streak going. Doesn't mean he's getting a hit every time up at the plate, and he's had some moments where you needed him and he didn't come through, but having him do what he's doing is huge for this lineup. And Gino Suarez, same thing, hit his first home run the other night. You look at him for home runs. He's kind of an all or nothing guy typically. Bunch of home runs, bunch of strikeouts, low average. Right now he's got a really good average. He's getting on base. Hit his first home run the other night. So it's kind of an inverse of what he normally is. It's been kind of quiet though. We haven't really talked about him. Teoscar Hernandez is starting to heat up. He's the guy we got excited about in terms of who they acquired in the offseason. That was the big acquisition. We're starting to see what he was prior to here, which was a huge threat at the plate, and home run in the game today. It's good to see him starting to find it, and you can just see that some of these guys, you can almost see the weight, like their shoulders drop a little bit, like, I can breathe. Okay, I got it out of the way.
Who do you need to see more out of right now?
Colton Wong. Colton Wong has got to get it figured out. And I'll throw out the same caveat for him as I would for anybody else. It's still early. I think there's an added pressure for a guy who's coming to a new team and trying to sort of prove, hey, I'm worthy of being here. You know, I'm trying to blend in, and he's also a guy who's on a 1-year deal right now. He's a free agent. He's playing for his next contract. So, you know, I think there's the pressure of trying to prove himself to his new teammates, a new fan base, and his future, playing for his future. So, you know, maybe he's had a couple games where he's had a couple knocks here and there. It just hasn't been consistent yet. And that's a guy that I think they need to get something out of him. He needs to be a threat. He doesn't have to hit 300, but he just needs to be a guy that is a threat every time he comes up at the plate, because I think he can be a stolen base threat. I think if you get him on base, he becomes that much more valuable, because unlike J.P. Crawford, for instance, it's great when he's hitting. He's not a stolen base threat. May take the shortest lead of anybody on the team. If you watch him once he gets on first, he's literally like one step off the base, whereas Colton Wong is a stolen base threat and can be a problem for the opposing team. So they need him out there. He's a guy that definitely needs to pick it up.
Rockies, Brewers, and Cardinals are coming up. What do you want to see out of the M's over their next homestand?
Win the series. I'd like to see the pitching consistently, you know, and it's the hope anytime you're out there. But you got to give the bullpen a break. Bullpen, it's early, but man, they have been used a lot. And I need to see what you saw to Logan Gilbert today. At one point, he retired 18 of 19. He went deeper into the game. He gave the bullpen the break that they desperately needed. We need to see that. Luis Castillo's been solid as well. He's been actually very good. But you need to see that out of Kirby, who looked good in his last start. You need to see that out of Marco. You just give this team and that bullpen a break and give this team a chance to win. So I feel like the offense, I mean, they put up 14 runs in the last 2 games. The offense is starting to kind of wash away the concerns we had going into the season. Right now it's about the starting pitching, which you came in thinking that's your strength, is your pitching and defense. It hasn't been so far. I'd like to see that through this series, see them go deeper into games.